English Daily, the podcast.
Your English journey starts now.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to English Daily Podcast, the show where we explore real-world English through the lens of today's most exciting technological topics. I'm Jack, your host, and I'm thrilled to be here with my wonderful co-host, Anna.
Good morning, Jack, and a very warm welcome to all of our wonderful listeners out there. I'm Anna, and I've been looking forward to this episode for weeks now. We have something really special for you today.
We absolutely do, Anna. Today's topic is absolutely fascinating. We're diving into the world of physical AI, specifically the vocabulary you need to understand when talking about robots in warehousing and logistics. This is a rapidly growing field, and the English terminology is everywhere right now.
That's so true, Jack. Whether you're reading tech news, watching documentaries, or even just browsing LinkedIn, you'll encounter these terms more and more. And today, we're going to make sure you feel completely confident using this vocabulary in real conversations.
Exactly. And here's what makes today's episode special. We're not just going to give you definitions. We're going to explore how humanoid robots are being positioned as collaborators rather than replacements. This is such an important nuance in the discourse around automation, and it has huge implications for how we talk about these technologies.
I love that angle, Jack. It makes the topic so much more relatable and human-centered. So let's get started, shall we? But first, a quick reminder, if you're new to our podcast, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. It really helps us keep creating this content for you.
Absolutely. Now let's jump right in. Anna, can you give us a quick overview of what we'll be covering today?
Of course, we're going to explore 6 main areas. First, we'll talk about what physical AI actually means and why it matters. Then we'll dive into warehouse automation vocabulary, followed by the fascinating world of humanoid robots. After that, we'll discuss collaborative robotics, the supply chain revolution, and finally, we'll look at the future of work in this space. We'll have a vocabulary breakdown with 15 to 20 key phrases, and we'll wrap up with reflection questions to help you practice.
That's a comprehensive plan, Anna. Let's get started with the first topic. What exactly is physical AI?
So, Jack, let's start with the basics. What does physical AI actually mean? I've seen this term thrown around a lot lately, but I want to make sure our listeners have a crystal clear understanding.
Great question, Anna. Physical AI refers to artificial intelligence systems that can interact with and manipulate the physical world. Unlike traditional AI that lives in software and processes data, physical AI involves robots and machines that can move, touch, pick up objects, navigate real spaces, and perform physical tasks. It's the bridge between digital intelligence and physical action.
That makes so much sense. So it's not just about thinking or computing, it's about doing. It's about AI that has a body, if you will.
Exactly. Think about it this way. When you ask a regular AI assistant a question, it responds with text or voice. But when a warehouse robot needs to identify a package, determine its weight, decide the best way to pick it up, navigate around obstacles, and place it in the correct location, that's physical AI in action. It combines perception, decision-making, and physical execution.
I remember reading about a massive Amazon warehouse recently where they have thousands of robots working alongside human employees. Is that an example of physical AI?
Absolutely, that's a perfect example. Amazon's fulfillment centers are like small cities of automation. They use robots called drive units that look like orange discs. These are autonomous mobile robots that can lift and transport shelves full of products. There are also robotic arms that can pick up individual items, and all of this is coordinated by sophisticated AI systems. The human workers and robots work in harmony, with robots handling the heavy lifting and walking, and humans focusing on tasks that require judgment, flexibility, and creativity.
That's amazing. And I think this is where the collaborator angle becomes so important, isn't it? These robots aren't replacing humans, they're working with humans.
That's exactly right, Anna, and that's a crucial point for our listeners to understand. The narrative in the industry has shifted dramatically. A few years ago, there was a lot of fear about robots taking jobs, but now the conversation is all about collaboration, augmentation, and partnership. Companies are realizing that the most efficient operations combine human intelligence with robotic physical capabilities.
You know, Jack, I think this is also important because it affects how we talk about these technologies. When we use the right vocabulary, we're not just describing machines, we're describing a new kind of workplace relationship between humans and robots.
Couldn't have said it better, Anna. The language we use matters. Instead of saying robots replacing workers, we talk about cobots, which is short for collaborative robots, working alongside human colleagues. Instead of automating jobs, we talk about augmenting human capabilities or enhancing productivity. These word choices reflect a more nuanced and, I think, more accurate understanding of what's happening.
And that's exactly what we're going to teach our listeners today. Not just the technical terms, but how to use them in the right context. Let's move on to our next subtopic, shall we?
Let's dive deeper into warehouse automation. This is where a lot of the physical AI vocabulary gets used in everyday professional settings. Anna, what's the first term you think is essential for our listeners to know?
I think we should start with ASRS, Automated Storage and Retrieval System. This is a fundamental technology in modern warehouses. These are computer-controlled systems that automatically store and retrieve products. You'll hear this term all the time in logistics discussions.
Yes, and these systems can be incredibly sophisticated. There are different types. Some use cranes, others use shuttles, and some use robots on rails. The key benefit is speed and accuracy. A human worker might take several minutes to find and retrieve an item, but an ASRS can do it in seconds, and it never makes picking errors due to fatigue.
That's such a great point about accuracy. I read that some of these systems have error rates of less than 0.01%. That's remarkable when you think about the volume of items being processed.
Absolutely. Now, another critical term is WMS, Warehouse Management System. This is the software brain that controls all the operations. It tracks inventory, manages orders, optimizes picking routes, and coordinates with robots. Think of it as the central nervous system of the warehouse.
So it's like the difference between having a really smart brain but no body versus having a brain coordinating a very capable body. The WMS is the brain, and the robots and automation equipment are the body.
That's a fantastic analogy, Anna. I love that. Now, let's talk about conveyors and sortation systems. These are the physical infrastructure that moves products through the warehouse. Conveyors are those belt or roller systems you see in the background of warehouse videos, and sortation systems are the technology that directs items to different destinations based on their final destination.
And these have gotten so much smarter in recent years. I remember visiting a distribution center once, and the sortation system could handle thousands of items per hour, reading barcodes and QR codes in milliseconds, and diverting each package to the correct chute.
That's the magic of modern sensor technology combined with AI. The system can see each item, make a split-second decision about where it needs to go, and physically redirect it. This is physical AI in action. The AI is making decisions and causing physical movement in the real world.
What about pick to light and voice picking? I've heard these terms, but I'm not sure I fully understand them.
Great questions. Pick to light is a system where lights indicate which items to pick and in what quantity. Each storage location has a light and a digital display. When an order comes in, the relevant lights turn on and show the quantity needed. The worker simply picks the items and confirms by pressing a button. It's incredibly efficient and reduces errors.
So it's like having the warehouse itself guide the worker through each pick. No need to read a paper list or check a screen constantly.
Exactly. And voice picking is similar, but uses audio instead of visual cues. The worker wears a headset and receives verbal instructions about what to pick and where to go. They confirm each pick by speaking aloud. This is particularly useful in situations where workers need to keep their hands and eyes free, like when they're handling fragile items.
These are such great examples of how technology is augmenting human work rather than replacing it. The human is still doing the picking, but the technology is making it faster, more accurate, and more comfortable.
That's the key insight, Anna. And that brings us to another important term, Labor Management System, or LMS. This is software that tracks worker productivity, assigns tasks, and ensures fair workload distribution. It measures how fast workers are moving, how many picks they're completing, and provides real-time feedback.
Is that controversial? I imagine some workers might feel like it's Big Brother watching them.
It can be, and that's a valid concern. Some labor advocates worry about these systems creating unrealistic productivity expectations or invading worker privacy. However, many companies position LMS as a way to help workers by identifying bottlenecks, providing coaching, and ensuring that work is distributed fairly. The ethical implementation of these systems is an ongoing discussion in the industry.
That's a good reminder that technology doesn't exist in a vacuum. It affects real people, and we need to consider those impacts when discussing these topics in English. The vocabulary we use matters, but so does the perspective behind it.
Absolutely. Let's move on to another exciting area, humanoid robots. This is where things get really fascinating.
Ooh, I'm so excited about this section, Jack. Humanoid robots are like something out of science fiction, but they're becoming reality in warehouses around the world.
They really are. The term humanoid robot refers to a robot designed to resemble or mimic the human body, typically with a head, two arms, two legs, and sometimes even hands with articulated fingers. The idea is that these robots can perform tasks in environments designed for humans.
What are some examples of humanoid robots being used in logistics today?
The most famous example is probably Digit, made by Agility Robotics. Digit is a bipedal robot. That means it walks on two legs, with arms that can pick up and carry packages. It's designed to work in warehouses and can navigate stairs, uneven terrain, and spaces designed for humans. Another notable one is Atlas from Boston Dynamics, which is incredibly athletic and can do backflips, though it's still more of a research platform than a commercial product.
Atlas is incredible. I've seen videos of it running, jumping, and doing parkour. It's amazing what robotics has achieved.
It really is, and these robots represent a shift in thinking. Early warehouse robots were often large, fixed machines or vehicles on wheels. Humanoids are designed to be flexible. They can theoretically do any task a human can do, from reaching high shelves to navigating cluttered spaces to using tools designed for human hands.
But are they actually being used in real warehouses now, or are they still mostly in the testing phase?
That's a great question, Anna. The honest answer is that we're in a transitional period. Some companies are piloting humanoid robots, but they're not yet widespread in commercial operations. The technology is impressive, but there are still challenges around durability, battery life, cost, and reliability. However, the industry is moving fast, and many experts predict we'll see significant deployment within the next 5 to 10 years.
What about other types of robots? You mentioned wheels earlier. What are those called?
Good question. Robots on wheels are called AMRs, autonomous mobile robots. These are different from humanoids in that they're not designed to look like humans. Instead, they're practical vehicles designed to move materials from one place to another. They use sensors and AI to navigate around obstacles and find the most efficient routes.
So AMRs are more like intelligent carts that can move themselves, while humanoids are meant to actually perform human-like tasks with their hands and bodies.
That's a good way to think about it. AMRs are very common in warehouses today. Companies like Locus Robotics, Six Rivers Systems, and Fetch Robotics all make popular AMR solutions. They're often used to transport picked items to packing stations or to bring supplies to workers.
I actually saw a video of a warehouse where workers would pick items from shelves and place them in a bin on an AMR. The robot would then take the bin to the packing area while the worker continued picking. It seemed like a really efficient workflow.
That's a perfect example of human-robot collaboration. The human does what humans are best at, identifying items, making judgment calls, handling exceptions. The robot does what robots are best at, carrying heavy loads, navigating long distances, working continuously without breaks. This is the collaborator model we mentioned earlier.
And this is why the vocabulary matters so much. When we say collaborative robot or cobot, we're signaling a specific relationship, one of partnership rather than replacement. That's a powerful idea.
Absolutely. Another term you'll hear is telerobotics or teleoperation. This is when a human remotely controls a robot, often from a different location. It's used in situations that are too dangerous for humans or where human judgment is still needed. Some companies are exploring this for warehouse operations, especially for handling hazardous materials or complex tasks.
That's such an interesting concept. So it's kind of like being a remote control pilot, but for robots doing physical work?
Exactly. And it opens up interesting employment possibilities. Someone could live in one city and operate robots in warehouses around the world. It's another example of how these technologies are creating new kinds of jobs, not just eliminating them.
What about the term end effector? I've heard that in robotics contexts.
An end effector is the tool or device at the end of a robot's arm, essentially its hand. In warehouse applications, common end effectors include grippers, suction cups, and magnetic lifters. The choice of end effector depends on what kind of objects the robot needs to handle, whether they're boxes, bags, fragile items, or irregularly shaped objects.
So it's like having different tools for different jobs, just like how a human might use different tools. That's another way robots are becoming more human-like in their capabilities.
Exactly. And this is a great transition to our next topic, collaborative robotics in more detail. Let's explore that next.
Let's talk about cobots. This is one of my favorite topics in robotics. Can you explain what exactly makes a robot collaborative?
A collaborative robot, or cobot, is designed to work safely alongside human workers without the need for safety cages or barriers. Traditional industrial robots were kept separate from humans because they were fast, powerful, and potentially dangerous. Cobots, on the other hand, have sensors and force-limiting technology that allow them to detect and respond to human presence, making them safe to work near.
What are some specific safety features that make this possible?
Great question. Cobots typically have force sensors that can detect if they collide with a person and immediately stop or reduce their force. They also have vision systems and proximity sensors that can sense when a human is nearby and adjust their speed or path accordingly. Some can even predict human movement to avoid collisions, and they often have rounded edges and soft materials to minimize injury if contact does occur.
That's really impressive. So these robots can actually know when a human is nearby and react appropriately?
Yes, and this enables entirely new workflows. In traditional automation, you had completely separate areas, humans in one zone, robots in another. With cobots, they can work side by side on the same tasks. A common example is machine tending. The cobot loads parts into a machine, the human does inspection or quality control, and then the cobot removes the finished part.
This brings us back to the idea of collaboration. The human and the robot each do what they're best at, working together in the same space.
Exactly. And this is where the term human-robot interaction, or HRI, comes in. It's an entire field of study focused on how humans and robots work together effectively and safely. The goal is to design robots that complement human abilities rather than compete with them.
What about the term swarm robotics? I've heard that too.
Swarm robotics involves many small, simple robots working together as a coordinated group, much like ants or bees work together in nature. In logistics, this could mean dozens or hundreds of small robots coordinating to sort packages or move materials. The collective behavior emerges from simple rules followed by each individual robot.
That's amazing. It's like the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
That's exactly the concept. Each robot might only be capable of simple tasks, but together they can accomplish incredibly complex operations. It's a fascinating approach to warehouse automation.
What about the term digital twin? I've heard it in various tech contexts.
Digital twin is a virtual replica of a physical system, in this case, a warehouse or logistics operation. Companies create digital twins to simulate and optimize their operations before making changes in the real world. You can test new robot configurations, workflow changes, or layout modifications in the simulation to see how they'd perform.
So it's like a sandbox where you can experiment without any risk. That must be incredibly valuable for planning.
It is, and it also allows for real-time monitoring. The digital twin can receive data from actual warehouse operations and show what's happening in real time, highlighting inefficiencies or problems as they occur. It's a powerful tool for continuous improvement.
This is all so fascinating. Now let's talk about the broader supply chain and how it's being transformed by these technologies.
Let's zoom out a bit and talk about the broader supply chain. The changes happening in warehousing are part of a much larger transformation in how goods move around the world.
What are some of the key terms our listeners should know when discussing supply chain transformation?
Let's start with supply chain visibility. This refers to the ability to track products as they move from manufacturers to warehouses to retail locations or customers. Advanced AI and IoT sensors are making visibility more granular than ever before. You can track not just where a package is, but its temperature, humidity, handling conditions, and estimated arrival time.
And what about last mile delivery? That's a term I hear a lot.
Last-mile delivery is the final leg of the delivery process, getting a package from a local distribution center to the customer's door. It's often considered the most expensive and complex part of logistics because it involves so many individual stops. This is where a lot of innovation is happening, including delivery drones, autonomous vehicles, and sidewalk robots.
I remember seeing news about Amazon using drones for delivery in some areas. Is that last mile delivery too?
Yes, that's a perfect example. And it's also where you'll hear terms like autonomous delivery vehicles or self-driving delivery robots. These are small vehicles that can navigate neighborhoods and deliver packages without a human driver.
What about micro-fulfillment centers? I've heard that term recently.
Micro-fulfillment centers are small, automated warehouses located in urban areas or close to customers. They're often no larger than a convenience store, but are highly automated. The idea is to position products closer to customers so deliveries can be made faster, sometimes within hours rather than days.
This is all about speed and convenience, isn't it? Consumers expect faster and faster delivery times.
Exactly. And this expectation is driving massive investment in automation. Companies are competing on delivery speed, and robots and AI are the tools that make that possible. Terms like same-day delivery, next-hour delivery, and instant delivery are becoming standard expectations, not just marketing promises.
What about reverse logistics? That's probably not as glamorous, but I imagine it's important.
Reverse logistics is the process of moving goods in the opposite direction, from customers back to the company. This includes returns, recycling, refurbishment, and repairs. With the growth of e-commerce, returns have become a massive issue. Companies are now using AI and robotics to process returns more efficiently, inspect items, and get them back into inventory or disposition quickly.
That makes sense. I read that online retail returns have skyrocketed in recent years, and processing them manually is incredibly expensive and time-consuming.
It's a huge challenge. Automated reverse logistics systems can assess returned items, determine their condition, decide whether to restock, refurbish, or recycle them, and process each item in seconds. It's another area where physical AI is making a huge difference.
What is predictive analytics in this context?
Predictive analytics uses AI to analyze data and predict future outcomes, like demand for products, potential supply chain disruptions, or equipment failures before they happen. In logistics, this means companies can anticipate needs, optimize inventory, and prevent problems before they occur.
So it's not just about reacting to what's happening now, but anticipating what will happen next. That must give companies a real competitive advantage.
Absolutely. And it ties back to the idea of the smart warehouse, a facility where AI, robotics, and IoT devices work together to create an intelligent, self-optimizing system. This is where all these terms come together.
This is all so fascinating. Now, let's look toward the future. What does the landscape of work look like in this new era?
This is perhaps the most important and nuanced topic we'll discuss today, how physical AI is reshaping the future of work. Let's start with a term that encapsulates this: workforce augmentation.
What does that term mean exactly?
Workforce augmentation refers to using technology to enhance human capabilities rather than replace humans. It's the idea that robots and AI can take over tedious, dangerous, or physically demanding tasks, freeing up humans to focus on higher value work that requires creativity, judgment, and emotional intelligence.
How is this different from automation?
Traditional automation often aims to completely eliminate human involvement in certain tasks. Augmentation, on the other hand, keeps humans in the loop but makes them more effective. In a warehouse context, a fully automated system might have robots doing everything. An augmented workforce would have robots handling the heavy lifting and repetitive picking, while humans manage exceptions, solve problems, and interact with customers.
So it's about finding the right balance, what robots do best and what humans do best.
Exactly. And this brings us to another important term: reskilling or upskilling. As technology changes, workers need to learn new skills to work effectively with robots and AI. Companies are investing in training programs to help their workforce transition from manual picking jobs to roles like robot maintenance, system monitoring, and process optimization.
What about the term dark warehouse? That sounds mysterious.
A dark warehouse is one that operates without any human workers, fully automated, often in complete darkness. These facilities use robots for everything, and human workers only come for maintenance or emergencies. Some companies are building these for certain operations, though they're not yet widespread.
Are they really completely empty of people?
Almost. There might be a few technicians on site for maintenance and repairs, but the day-to-day operations are handled entirely by machines. It's an extreme example of automation, and it's not the model most companies are pursuing. Most are aiming for the collaborative model we discussed earlier.
What is a flexible workforce in this context?
A flexible workforce combines human workers with robots in a way that can scale up or down based on demand. During peak seasons like holidays, companies can add more robots or human workers. The AI systems can allocate tasks between humans and robots based on availability, cost, and capability. It's about adaptability.
This is all about being able to respond to change quickly, whether that's a surge in orders or a new type of product to handle.
Exactly. And this adaptability is crucial in today's fast-paced e-commerce environment. Now, let's talk about some of the challenges and concerns. What term comes to mind, Anna?
I think job displacement is probably the most sensitive term in this entire discussion.
You're absolutely right, and we have to address it honestly. Job displacement refers to workers losing their jobs due to automation. There's no denying that some tasks are being automated and some workers are being displaced. However, the reality is more nuanced than the simple narrative of robots taking all the jobs.
What does the research show?
Studies suggest that automation tends to change the nature of work more than eliminate it entirely. New jobs are being created, roles like robot programmers, data analysts, system integrators, and maintenance technicians. There's also growth in roles that complement automation, like customer service, quality control, and process improvement. The key is helping workers transition through training and support.
That's an important perspective. It's not that work disappears, but it evolves.
That's exactly it. And finally, let's talk about human-centric automation, an approach that places human well-being and development at the center of automation decisions. This means considering not just efficiency, but also job quality, worker safety, and meaningful work.
I love that term. It reminds us that behind all this technology, there are real people whose lives and livelihoods matter.
Well said, Anna. And with that philosophical note, I think it's time to move on to our vocabulary breakdown section.
Now it's time for our vocabulary breakdown. We're going to review 15 to 20 key phrases from today's conversation. I'll say each phrase, and Jack, can you give us a brief explanation and an example sentence?
Sounds great, Anna. Let's do it.
Number 1, physical AI.
Physical AI refers to artificial intelligence systems that can interact with and manipulate the physical world. Example, the company is investing heavily in physical AI to improve its warehouse automation capabilities.
Number 2, autonomous mobile robot, AMR.
An AMR is a robot that can move independently through an environment using sensors and AI. Example, the warehouse uses AMRs to transport picked items to the packing stations.
Number 3, collaborative robot, cobot.
A cobot is a robot designed to work safely alongside human workers without safety barriers. Example, the cobot assists workers by holding parts in place while they're assembled.
Number 4, warehouse management system, WMS.
A WMS is software that controls and optimizes warehouse operations, including inventory tracking and order fulfillment. Example, the WMS directed the picker to the exact location of each item on the order.
Number 5, automated storage and retrieval system, ASRS.
An ASRS is a computer-controlled system that automatically stores and retrieves products from storage. Example, the ASRS can retrieve up to 1,000 items per hour.
Number 6, pick to light.
Pick to light is a warehouse technology that uses lights to direct workers to items that need to be picked. Example, the pick to light system reduced picking errors by 80%.
Number 7, voice picking.
Voice picking is a hands-free method where workers receive instructions through a headset and confirm picks by speaking. Example, voice picking allows workers to keep their eyes and hands free for handling products.
Number 8, end effector.
An end effector is the tool at the end of a robot's arm used to grip, lift, or manipulate objects. Example, the robot uses a vacuum-based end effector to pick up smooth, flat packages.
Number 9, human-robot interaction.
HRI is the study and practice of how humans and robots work together safely and effectively. Example: the company consulted HRI experts to design its collaborative workspace.
Number 10, swarm robotics.
Swarm robotics involves many small, simple robots working together as a coordinated group. Example: swarm robotics allows thousands of tiny robots to sort packages in parallel.
Number 11, digital twin.
A digital twin is a virtual replica of a physical system used for simulation and optimization. Example: the logistics company created a digital twin of its distribution network to test routing changes.
Number 12, last mile delivery.
Last mile delivery is the final leg of the delivery process, getting packages from a local hub to the customer's door. Example: companies are experimenting with drones for last mile delivery in rural areas.
Number 13, micro-fulfillment center.
A micro-fulfillment center is a small automated warehouse located close to customers for rapid delivery. Example: the retailer opened micro-fulfillment centers in major cities to enable same-day delivery.
Number 14, reverse logistics.
Reverse logistics is the process of handling returned goods, including inspection, restocking, and recycling. Example: the company automated its reverse logistics to process returns more efficiently.
Number 15, predictive analytics.
Predictive analytics uses AI to analyze data and forecast future outcomes like demand or disruptions. Example: predictive analytics helps the warehouse anticipate busy periods and adjust staffing.
Number 16, smart warehouse.
A smart warehouse uses AI, robotics, and IoT devices to create an intelligent, self-optimizing facility. Example: the smart warehouse can automatically reorder stock when inventory runs low.
Number 17, workforce augmentation.
Workforce augmentation uses technology to enhance human capabilities rather than replace workers. Example: the company's strategy focuses on workforce augmentation, not full automation.
Number 18, reskilling.
Reskilling involves training workers new skills to adapt to technological changes in their jobs. Example: the company offers free reskilling programs for employees affected by automation.
Number 19, dark warehouse.
Dark warehouse operates without human workers, using only robots for all operations. Example: the dark warehouse runs at full capacity throughout the night without any staff on site.
Number 20, human-centric automation.
Human-centric automation prioritizes worker well-being, safety, and meaningful work alongside efficiency. Example: human-centric automation ensures that workers are partners, not just supervisors of machines.
Excellent. Those are 20 key phrases that will help our listeners navigate any discussion about physical AI in logistics. Great job, Jack.
Thanks, Anna. And now let's move on to our reflection questions to help you practice using this vocabulary. Now it's time for our reflection questions. Anna, should we go through these together?
Absolutely. These questions are designed to help you think about and practice the vocabulary we've learned today. Take a moment to consider each one and try to use the new terms in your responses.
Question 1. How do you think physical AI will change the way warehouses operate in the next decade? Try to use at least 3 terms from today's vocabulary list in your answer.
That's a great question. I think we'll see warehouses becoming much smarter and more autonomous. With technologies like ASRS, AMR, and WMS working together, facilities will be able to operate with minimal human intervention. Predictive analytics will help anticipate demand, and digital twins will allow for continuous optimization. It's an exciting vision.
Question 2. What do you think are the most important skills for workers in a smart warehouse? How might their jobs change?
Workers will need to be comfortable working alongside robots and cobots. They'll need technical skills to monitor and maintain the systems, and they'll need problem-solving skills to handle exceptions that robots can't manage. The focus will shift from physical labor to supervisory and analytical roles. It's about working with technology, not against it.
Question 3. Some people worry that automation will lead to widespread job loss. How would you respond to this concern using what we've learned today?
I would say that while some tasks will be automated, the overall effect is more about transformation than elimination. We've seen this in other technological shifts throughout history. New jobs are being created in robotics, data analysis, and system management. Workforce augmentation means humans and robots working together, with each doing what they do best. The key is reskilling and supporting workers through this transition.
Question 4. If you were designing a new warehouse from scratch, what technologies would you prioritize and why? Use terms like smart warehouse, cobot, and AMR in your answer.
I would start with a robust WMS to be the brain of the operation. Then I'd implement a combination of AMRs for transportation and cobots for collaborative tasks like picking and packing. Pick to light and voice picking would help human workers be more efficient. And I definitely create a digital twin to simulate the operation before building it. All of these would work together to create a truly smart warehouse.
Question 5. How might the vocabulary we've learned today be different if the industry had taken a more negative view of robots? What other terms might we be using?
That's a fascinating thought experiment. We might hear more about replacement and displacement rather than collaboration and augmentation. Instead of cobots, we might use replacement units or worker bots. The language would focus on what humans lose rather than what we gain together. It's a reminder that the words we use shape our perception of technology.
Question 6. What excites you most about the future of physical AI in logistics? What concerns you?
What excites me most is the potential for faster, more reliable delivery and the reduction of physically demanding, repetitive work. Robots can do the heavy lifting, literally. What concerns me is making sure we implement these technologies ethically with human-centric automation that prioritizes worker well-being. We need to be thoughtful about the transition.
Question 7. How could you use some of today's vocabulary in a job interview for a logistics company?
Great question. You could say something like, I'm excited about the opportunity to work in a smart warehouse environment. I'm familiar with WMS systems, and I'm comfortable working alongside cobots and AMRs. I'm also interested in learning more about predictive analytics and how data can optimize operations. I'm committed to continuous learning and reskilling as the industry evolves.
Question 8. If you could have any robot helper in your daily life, what would it do? Try to use a term from today's list in your answer.
That's a fun question. I'd love to have an AMR-style helper that could navigate my home and bring me things, like a smart tray that carries items from the kitchen to my home office. It would be like having a collaborative robot partner, except at home. It would handle the fetching so I could focus on more creative tasks.
Question 9. How do you think last-mile delivery will change in the next 5 years? What role will technology play?
I think we'll see a revolution in last-mile delivery. We'll likely have more autonomous delivery vehicles and sidewalk robots making local deliveries. Drones might become common for certain areas. And all of this will be coordinated by AI systems using predictive analytics to plan the most efficient routes. It'll be fascinating to watch.
Question 10. After listening to this episode, what new vocabulary are you most excited to start using? How will you practice?
I'm personally excited to start using workforce augmentation and human-centric automation in my discussions. To practice, I'll read industry news and look for these terms in context. I'll also try explaining the concepts to friends or colleagues to reinforce my understanding. Practice makes perfect.
Those are wonderful responses, Anna. And to our listeners, take your time with these questions. There's no rush. The goal is to really internalize these terms and be able to use them naturally in conversation.
Well, Anna, we've covered an enormous amount of ground today. What a journey it's been.
It really has, Jack. From understanding what physical AI means to exploring warehouse automation, diving into the world of humanoid robots and cobots, examining the supply chain revolution, and looking at the future of work, it's been incredibly comprehensive.
I hope our listeners feel equipped to engage in conversations about robotics and AI and logistics with confidence. We've given them 20 key terms, real-world examples, and plenty of food for thought.
And remember, the most important takeaway is this. These robots are collaborators, not replacements. They're here to work with us, to make our jobs easier and more interesting, and to create a more efficient and responsive supply chain.
Absolutely. And we encourage you to keep learning, read articles, watch videos, and most importantly, practice using these terms in your own conversations. That's how they'll become part of your active vocabulary. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. We hope you found this episode valuable and engaging. If you did, please subscribe to English Daily Podcast and share it with friends who might benefit. And we'd love to hear from you. What topics would you like us to explore in future episodes?
That's it for today, everyone. I'm Jack.
And I'm Anna.
Thank you for listening, and keep practicing your English every day.
Take care, everyone. See you next time. Your learning journey doesn't stop here. Keep improving your English. Click the next video or explore more episodes we've picked just for you. See you in the next lesson.